When you download the application, you're also downloading your own SQLite database. This is the back end of your knowledge management system. It's got all the tables, it's got all the tools, all the helper information. It's also got the vector extensions that you need to be able to run the embeddings. It's local, so when you download it, you own all of your own data, your database. It's not going to the cloud or anything. So here is the UI of your application or of your knowledge management system. On the left hand side you can see we have the nodes panel. So the nodes, a node is like an atomic item that's going into your database. It could be a podcast, it could be a paper, a book. It could also be an idea that you're mulling over. All of this stuff goes into your database as a node. So I'm going to add a node here manually just to show you how that works. New coding agent paradigm. This is just an idea that I've been thinking through. So I've now added my first node to the system. So I did that manually. The idea with this whole application is for you to spin up your own helpers and to outsource work to the helpers where it's appropriate to do so. So when you download the app, it comes with one helper, V0. That helper has a generic system prompt, and it also has all the tools that you would need. But you can create new helpers. You can create 10 new helpers. So I'm going to show you how to do that here and what that looks like. You want to spend a bit of time, obviously, thinking through how you work with the helper, how you instruct it. I'm just going to do this quickly as an example. So the helpers can update themselves. It's good to get the helpers to update themselves because there are some guardrails to ensure that it's doing so properly. Hey, I want you to be the helper that helps me efficiently add new research to my database. If I give you a specific URL, like a YouTube link or a paper or a website, use the appropriate tool to extract the information and don't ask me questions. So now it's going to update itself. And while it does that, I'm going to grab this Substack article by Nathan Lambert, and I'm going to drop it just here. So now it's going to go and use the website extract tool to extract all that information and add it as a node into my database. And I've got two nodes. Because I'm going to be working with this particular node, I can see that the chunk, this is all the data, or I mean all of the blog. I can embed, so it's going to chunk and embed this node into my database. And I'm going to do the same thing with this latent space article. So it'll flash green once it's finished embedding there. And I'm going to add this latent space article. So now I'll have 3 nodes in the database. Great. So now I have these 3 nodes in the database. You can also get a little bit more clever with how, or efficient with how you're adding things. I can also say something like, hey, can you also go and find for me, what was it? Find for me the recent YouTube video I watched with OpenAI and Greg Brockman on Codex and the future of coding with AI. Okay, great. This is the one that I wanted, so I can say add this as a node to the database. I should say use the YouTube extract tool. Okay, this can take a little bit longer because it's extracting the actual transcript from the YouTube video. So these are tools. You can actually see here the system prompt. You can modify it, and you can also add or remove the available tools. Okay, great. Here's that video that's been added in. Same thing here. You'll see the chunk content for the transcript. And let's do one more. Can you also find the video, the Anthropic video with Alex and Boris? I think it was on I have my notes here. The future of agentic coding. Okay, great. This is the one I wanted. Add this. Use the YouTube extract tool. So again, if you're more careful with how you actually instruct the helper, you don't have to word it every time to use the tool. Okay, so while that's going, I'm going to open up this. Okay, and last one. You can also do some web search on Nathan Lambert and add him as a new node into the database. Great, so now I have these 6 nodes here in the database. The next really important thing is edges. So nodes are the atomic items that are going into your database. Edges are how they're connected together. So the system, every time you interact with the system, whether that's through a chat or adding a node or updating a description or adding a connection between nodes, the system is learning from this. It's being logged, the system is learning, so it's understanding how you're making connections between different ideas, different nodes, different research items. So you can ask the helper to create an edge, which is a connection between 2 nodes for you, or you can do it here within the UI. So as an example, I can, similar to what you would do in Obsidian, I can open up an actual node here and say at this Nathan Lambert, and it's going to create this smart label, and it's also going to create an edge. So if I open up this and here, we can see that it's created this edge, and then I would want to add some context here. The author, like if you added an idea in here specifically and it was inspired by a different research item or person, you would want to add that edge and then give some context to the system about why or how that idea was inspired. The system can also infer why it thinks that an edge was created, and this gets better over time. It gets better because it's creating a graph to map all of your different ideas as edges. Okay, so now I have these different. Now I have these nodes. I've created an edge. I can ask some questions because I've embedded this particular node. So I'm going to say, can you explain to me what Nathan means when he says that coding is the last tractable domain of continual progress for AI? So it's going to run a search here. You can specify that you want it to I guess, what's the word I'm looking for here? That you want it to format the response with in a particular way with quotes, that you only want it to respond with references from the direct transcript. Up to you. And can you create this coding is the last tractable domain of continual progress as a new node in the database? So I'm just building like a project here. I don't know if it's a project, whatever you want to call it. I'm building up a bunch of resources, connecting them together to help me think through this idea. Great. And then he also mentions Dwarkesh Patel and continual learning. Can you do a web search and help me understand what continual learning means as discussed by the great and mighty Dwarkesh Patel? Okay, this is spot on. So I'm going to say, also add continual learning by Dwarkesh Patel as a new node in the database. Okay, you can probably see where all of this is going now. I have all of these nodes related to this idea on the new coding agent paradigm. Now, I'm going to create one more helper. I'm going to use Claude for this. Hey, I want you to be the helper that helps me really think through all of the focus nodes that I have and help me draft a new node or a new idea based on all of the focus nodes that I have in context. You should use the Think tool, and you should also use the web search tools to support the draft. Update yourself to do this. Again, this is like something you would spend a lot more time crafting, the guidelines. I'm just doing this quickly for demonstration purposes. It's going to update itself. And so here in the middle, we have all of these focus nodes, right? And when you interact with the helper is going to know that you're focusing on these nodes. It's going to pull this into the context window, basically, in an efficient way. So I didn't ask the helper to do this, but it started doing it anyway. So it's running through steps. It's using like a sequential thinking tool here to run through the steps to help synthesize insights. And it's created a new node for me. So I could have asked it to specifically modify the focus node, the description, or to create a new node here. It's also automatically creating edges here because I've given it the Think tool, and it also can see that it has access or the ability to create the edge. And in the back end, these tools have been given the context of your database. Cool, so it's created this for me, and this is what I would use. I mean, in this demonstration, I'm just doing this quickly. Obviously, this is not going to abstract away the need to actually do research yourself. It's just going to augment your ability by pulling this all into context. So, few quick things. Locally owned, all of this data now, these nodes are stored locally on your computer, not in the cloud. I haven't implemented any kind of data backup system yet, so you're going to have to do that yourself. There's also a back-end memory system. So every time you chat, every time you have any interaction with the helper, anytime you interact with one of the nodes or pull a node into focus, anytime you add a new node, this is being logged in a system in the background. And when I say system in the background, it's being logged in your database. Then there's a background memory system, and that memory system is basically looking at every single log that goes in, and it's starting to cluster what it thinks are important ideas or themes, your world model. It's building a model of you, and it's clustering similar themes together and giving them a ranking score. So this whole thing is designed to be more fluid. You're adding things every time you interact with a node, it gets pushed back to the top. Similar with the memory, every time a certain memory gets clustered, it gets more points, it gets pushed to the top. If you have a node that hasn't been interacted with a long time, it gets to a certain threshold and it gets pruned or cut out from the system. And the same with the memories as well. So that's it. This is a very quick run through. Obviously, everybody's going to have a different way that they want to use these helpers based on their own research process. So I just look forward to seeing how people use this, and hopefully if you've got some good ideas, you can come and share them. Ciao.